Hello everybody, my name is CoolBlue, and I'm bringing you guys yet another CasNet presents the CasNet Interviews, and this series has been going on pretty decently. I'm getting a lot of people, or finding a lot of people and dragging them on here to the interview. And speaking of people I've drugged Heflamoke. Did I say that right?
Heflamoke.
Yes. I said it right. I'm cheering to myself, guys, because I kept calling him Half-Life 2 for the longest. Heflamoke, I have him here for the interview, and Heflamoke, would you like to go ahead and give yourself a brief introduction to all the beautiful people out there? Like, just say hello.
Well, hello people, I'm Heflamoke from Hefla TV, and I'm glad I'm here. Mr. CoolBlue invited me, and here I am.
Oh my god, I'm Mr. now. I upgraded. I'm no longer a boy. Yay. Alright, so let's go ahead and get this interview started on the road. Would you like to introduce yourself and let us know what you do as far as, or not what you do, yeah, what you do in real life, like not necessarily game stuff yet.
Well, right now in real life, I'm a medical student. I was born and raised in Germany, but right now I'm studying in Hungary. Like I studied before in Germany, and I also worked already.
Oh wow.
But I had like, let's say a little turn in my life, and I decided to go for another study, something like I have passion about, and yeah, I ended up in Hungary, and yeah, I study here now, but the studies still leave me enough room for esports.
And I'm just gonna go ahead and ask this question: how do you manage medical school or medical stuff and casting? Because last time I checked, medical school is like you have to be studying 24/8. Just add extra days, just so you can get the studies in.
Yeah, and I know it's not that easy, and you have to manage your time, and well, it works somehow.
It works, so it just falls into place. Okay.
I hope it works in the future too. I mean, sometimes more, sometimes less, but yeah, it's at the moment it works, and
okay.
I will always make space for esports in my life.
Yeah, internet high five. Alright, now speaking of things that fall into place very well, how did you get your nickname? Because you told me that your nickname came from something interesting that actually falls and explodes, but I'm not going to spoil it, so I'll let you go ahead and tell it.
Yeah, since I'm not the youngest guy out there, I'm almost 30 years old, and when I started with esports, like one of the biggest esports out there was Counter-Strike, and in Counter-Strike we had free grenades, and since I was the support, okay, in Counter-Strike you don't call it support, but since we're now in Dota 2 terminology, like I was the support guy, I was the guy in the background who was throwing like in every damn possible angle and ways grenades, and like I choose the name accordingly. There were free grenades, the HE, the flash, and the smoke, and the name was born, Heflamoke.
Oh, see, now I get it, because before you told me I was like, okay, flashbang, I see that one. I see smoke, but where's HE from? But yeah, okay, of course. I'm sorry, guys. I haven't played Counter-Strike in like at least at least 6 months. I need to go back and play that. But okay, so you started playing Counter-Strike. You mentioned that before, and we've actually had an extensive conversation about WoW. You guys don't understand. We've talked a lot about WoW, and I don't know a lot, but Heflamoke knows a lot. But anyway, all that goes into a segue of how did you get into video games? Because you seem to have like a nice little track record of games.
Oh well, like I don't even know how it started. I'm not one of those kids who started with consoles, because when I was a kid it was in East Germany, like right after the wall came down, and like we didn't have like the newest technology and everything. But I remember like in the 90s I got a Nintendo Game Boy.
Ooh, wow.
Like not those, not those you could put in your pocket. Now those ones you had to take two hands for it.
So about the gray brick.
Yeah, the great brick, exactly. This brick format Game Boy, and I started playing it, and like as usual, like I'm always in esports. I had to be the best, and I had friends in school who had it as well, and we were exchanging games, and like then later new technology came out, and high scores were saved, and I tried to be the best in high scores and everything. And yeah, I think then somewhere in the 90s we got the first computer, like those computers that were mostly owned by offices or like people that have a business. Like the PC, the personal computer, was not really personal. It was mostly like just people who can afford it. And
right.
fortunately, there were some games on it, and yeah, I started to play those games. Pixels, a lot of pixels, but I started to play them as well. And from there on, I think it just got more and more.
So my question actually real fast because you're basically telling me that you started in the beginning of the internet or the beginning of the computer, relatively speaking. So, what would you say is your favorite old school video game?
Oh my god, I don't even know like the first names of those games. Like, uh, no, because like a lot of those games, like back then, like in my family, there were a lot of students,
Hmm.
and informatics, like informatics science, was coming out, and there were a lot of people who were programming those
Hmm.
games, like with the first engines we had. And I know a game that was called Superplex. It
Uh-huh.
was some sort of Pac-Man version of it. It was really cool. You had to eat stuff, and stones were falling down, and you
Hmm.
had to do it all the right way so you don't block yourself, you don't kill yourself, monsters don't eat you,
Hmm.
stuff like that, like Pac-Man based stuff. Yeah,
Huh. That sounds very, very retro. I'll put it that way because I mean it's an
yeah,
old game.
really retro. Like I would like to have those games back just for the shit and giggles.
It's like just like install DOS on like your iPhone or something, and then have all the games run
Yeah,
through it.
exactly.
All right.
But you have to emulate them because the computers nowadays, they're so fast, you probably won't even be able to load that stuff anymore.
Actually, there was a thing somebody said like if you played a certain game on a modern computer, like it'll run like the clock speed will be too fast for it, so it runs like 4 times the normal speed.
Yeah, yeah. So it's not playable anymore. I know.
Yeah. Unless you have Twitch crazy fast reflexes. And speaking of Twitch and crazy fast reflexes, that brings us perfectly into our next segue, which would be how did you get into esports? Because well, we talked extensively, like I said before, ahead of the time. And if you guys don't know, Heflamoke actually has organized a few organizations on his own side. So I actually wanted to tackle this from a how'd you get into esports and then go into casting later on. So that's just a little background for everybody listening. So yeah, how did
Yeah,
you
well,
get into esports?
like I guess I have to start with like the first games. Like I transitioned really from uh when I came into the first like competitive scene esport. It was all LAN based because like back then internet wasn't fast enough. We are still talking about 56K modem ISDN connections where you had to use double channels to even make like
To
I don't
send a
know,
bit. No.
yeah, to just be even able to talk to other people on the internet and everything. So LAN was actually the way to go.
Mhm.
And yeah, we had a couple people who were already playing like solo players at home and everything. They were good at the games, and
Uh-huh.
like
Uh-huh.
LAN parties started to pop up like mushrooms everywhere in Germany or in our region. And
Mhm.
we were like, hey, we know each other, we love games, let's go to LAN parties. And LAN parties ended up being like, besides all the drinking and partying, like, yeah, tournaments, we won money with it, etc. And that's how it started. At that time, Counter-Strike,
Mhm.
Warcraft 3, Unreal Tournament, those were the games we were playing. And we had a Counter-Strike squad. And this is the first time I even organized something because out of these fun people,
Mhm.
like a clan was was pretty much arising. And yeah, we started to, we even had a bus. Back then, our parents had to still drive us.
Nice.
We had a bus and we're driving from city to city, from LAN party to LAN party. Um, yeah, and we were going there, signing up with our team, trying to defeat. Sometimes it was just, a nice little trophy. Sometimes you won a
Mhm.
keyboard and a mouse, which was, I mean, nowadays you go somewhere buy like, I don't know, a €5 keyboard, but back then stuff was expensive
Right, right.
and you were a child, so you had to always, have the blessing of your parents to actually buy something. So winning that stuff, getting more equipment for your esport was, yeah, that was amazing. And up to this day, when I visit home, when I come back to Germany,
Mhm.
we still have the house with all our trophies, like in a nice vitrine,
Wow.
standing there. And yeah, we look back. I don't know how many. It's far more than a decade now.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's
Mhm.
still nice to see all those little trophies.
Well, see, that actually brings us to another set of questions I can ask you. We can go all day on this topic, guys. Esports is massive. This is why I like to focus things on casting and stuff. But, or so like if you're making something for another organization. But I just want to dig into this a little bit. So you said you have a bunch of trophies, and you said you competed in a bunch of competitions. So I'll ask you two questions from this. First one, what is the biggest event that you've played in and actually placed that you can remember? And the second one is, have you ever met any like the bigger names as far as professional players out there? And if so, name
Well,
like one or two if that you can remember.
well, when I was Well, at the Counter-Strike time, as I said, it was all LAN-based, and to be honest, I don't remember the names. It was always like local events and everything.
Right.
But then later in World of Warcraft, there actually like the significant esport for me started, because first of all, I started to play online, and like I wanted to be the best, so I joined really decent guilds or built up the guilds myself, and there we ended up even at events like Gamescom, for example, in Germany. There was even like back then they made, for example, they invited top guilds of the world to make those speedruns, for example, clear an instance faster than the other guild, like do it parallelly, etc., stuff like that. That was really cool. And at those events, I even met like people like, I don't know, all the World of Warcraft players.
Like real people instead of internet fictional people?
No, like real people, like all the WoW people will know it. Like I met Kungan, for example,
right,
who's the founder and leader of Nihilium back then, and yeah, a nice chat with them. A couple of the people I still know, and a couple of those people are now even transitioning into other sports. Like Kungan, for example, he's now big Hearthstone player. He's still streaming. He's now full-time streaming. Like he's making actually a living of it. So yeah, it's pretty nice.
Okay, so I'm actually gonna forego the question of what games did you or what games have you been involved in, and actually ask you a question in its place of, well, you've been in esports pretty much since the start of esports, since the start of computers essentially. So the growth relative to when it started to where it's at now, what would you say the current state of esports is? Like, is it in a good state? Is it in a bad state? Is it in a state of growth, rapid growth, slow growth? What would be your take on it?
The current state of esport and growth is amazing. That I barely have anything to add there, simply because, I mean, back then we were all, I don't know, people had to organize it privately, and you had to be really good at something to be like sponsored and everything. But now it's picking up, especially like the casual and amateur scenes is pushing forward. Like back then you had like 99.9 of the players were the players that just bought the game or just bought the subscription and the company was making money off, and you had like the 0.1% of people that were sponsored and in the news and whatsoever. And I think this is changing now. Like you have now, let's say, a 5% top players, like from tier 1 to tier 3 teams playing in several leagues, being in the news, being broadcasted, and then all the other people, like people who strive to become something like that or just enjoy it, just like their favorite football team or something. So yeah, it's an amazing state. It's growing in every single country globally.
It all sounds like positive growth, and I do love the fact that the esports scene, to me, it seems like it never stops growing. Of course, it's going to stop growing eventually. Like it actually started to recede a little bit because people are starting to do, the community is starting to do a few bad things, but that's a whole community issue. That's a whole nother thing. That's a whole nother monster that we can talk about for another hour and a half.
Yeah.
So instead of talking about that, we'll go ahead and transition into our main topic of how did you get into Dota? Because last time I checked, you were also a Dota caster. But at first, I want to figure out how did you get into Dota?
Dota. That's very interesting. That even started at the LAN events, like World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft, bullshit. Warcraft 3 was already out, and at that point it was just played like StarCraft, in a competitive scene and everything, player versus player on several already known maps, etc., etc. And then Mr. Icefrog and co. came out with these mods. Like at that time, like the mods, the special custom maps of Warcraft, they were already going. You had already like things like tower defense and whatnot. Like there was dozens of things. Exactly, yeah, exactly. In the public gaming, you had dozens of these things, and somehow like one of our friends came up with this nice, 3 lanes, 2 bases. Instead of like having to steer creeps and everything, you have the heroes of Warcraft 3, and yeah, and someone brought it to LAN, and from there on I played it. And then in my time as WoW, like playing WoW, I was really busy, and I had to practice a lot, train a lot, farm a lot, organize a lot. But whenever I had a free minute, I was going to play Dota 1. Like it was always my side hobby. And yeah, since I quit WoW and all the other games, Dota was left, and Valve picked it up. And there we go. And now I'm only focused on Dota 2 since it's a just freaking amazing game.
Right now, I'm also going to take another segue. I mean, I'm just taking segues all over. Let's just like throw out the question list that we have here. I'm still going to follow that, by the way. Just for your knowledge, Heflamoke. But I want to bring us to another. I want to bring us to another circle, I guess, because the interview I had with Shiver back on CasNet interview number 5. You guys can go check it out if you want to. Pretty cool interview. We talked about a lot of things. But the interview with Shiver, she was like into like the hardcore rating type stuff, and I'm assuming that's what you were into as well, since you mentioned WoW a lot.
Yeah.
But she mentioned that her schedule for raiding, like she would literally like go to school, go to work, and then come home, do some raids, like 30 minutes, eat some food, do some raids, and then go to bed, and then do it all over again. But she mentioned that helped her get into the rhythm of casting continuously while she had free time. So would you say that would be the same thing for you as well, or would you have a different take on it?
To be honest, where I was raiding in Forte and Inner Sanctum, there was no real time for a job, for studies, or whatsoever. When there was progress, we took vacation. That's pretty much it. Like the real core of the guild had to take vacation. I mean, it's either in WoW it was always like this, and it will always be in any progress game. Like you have to do it in the first couple hours, days. Like, if the progress is already 1 week old, it's pretty much over. The world firsts are made, and yeah, you don't even need to try, like, if you want to be top position. So, I actually took sick leave or vacation or whatever for each and every progress. There was no schedule, whatever. Like, the raid started, and then we quit the raid when either the boss was down or we just couldn't do it anymore because it was already 12 hours of constant raiding. Like I remember, for example, in the Sanctum, the world first we did in the Ulduar content, we had over 600 pulls of each of the bosses, and that was in like 2 different nights. So overall, we had a couple thousand of pulls. Each of them were like some 1% vibes whatsoever, but we kept going simply for the fact because we knew it was possible.
Right.
If you would have vibed, at like 90%, the raid leader would have said like, guys, we need to come up with new ideas, sleep 2 hours or 3 hours, grab a drink, grab a bite, and we come again. But he was like, guys, this is so close, like nobody of you dare you to close your eyes or be unfocused. We go till this fucking boss is down. And yeah, that's how he pushed us. And yeah, I think, yeah, it was successful. Simply as that, it was successful.
That motivation, that extra push is all you needed to do things. And that actually brings us to our next thing of, okay, we're getting to the questions of casting. Actually, no. Okay, I'll skip all that. So how did you get into casting?
Well, casting, that's a good question because I'm pretty much new into casting. As I said, I'm always a passionate gamer myself. Even tried to be competitive, but that was not compatible with my life pretty much around. And so I just keep on playing. And in Dota, I noticed that like the casting scene is not keeping up with the amount of tournaments, etc. out there. Or actually, I think theoretically there are enough casters to cover everything, but some of the casters are still under the illusion that they could, without any effort, become a second GD or BTS or GD studio or whatever. So they want to gain everything within a couple hours without any work. And I think that also like these tournaments, like the smaller formats that are not posted on JD but like in-game whatsoever, they don't get enough love. Now, simply as that. And I think someone should cast them.
When you say JD, what do you mean?
Like joint Dota, everything that is around joint Dota and the casting. I mean, as big, like just comparing them as like the big shiny stars on the casting heaven that is so far existing in Dota.
Yes. Shout out to that Skype chat. We love you guys. But anyway, but yeah, I do agree. This casting scene, it atones to something that Purge said in his videos. One of the videos that got me started casting personally, that I mentioned a few times already. But he was basically saying that there's a lot of games to cast, and there's not enough casters. So there's always need for casters, and people are. I agree with your point on that as well. People who are starting out are under the illusion that they can be, start casting one day and then tomorrow they'll be casting with Purge or Shiva or Toby. You can't do it. You gotta work for it.
But this is as old as esport is. People think that all these things like fame and professionalism is coming overnight.
No.
All these people worked hard for it, or they just have the skills to be picked up. But even for being picked up, you need to represent yourself, so that some sort of scout sees you and says like, yeah, this guy, this is good material. We can, you know, work with him, build up something here. All this requires work, and this is in real life. This is in esport. It's everywhere the same. People are just, they want to rush everything, and that's kind of bad. And I take a slower approach, and I see what's coming, and then act accordingly.
That's a good approach to go forward. Now let's move on to the next thing, because we've already talked extensively about how you got into casting and stuff. I actually picked up and actually these questions. So what are your favorite things about Dota, specifically?
Oh, Dota. Like, well, versatility, the heroes. I mean, all the heroes have certain abilities, obviously, we all know that, but like, the hero alone is not that interesting. The hero synergizing with another hero, the team play, and like the use of those abilities. I mean, even now, we are casting so many games, we always think we saw everything.
Right.
But it's not true. You always see something new made, especially teams like Speed Gaming, now Cloud9, like those guys are always up for a surprise, you know? You think you casted them.
Shout out to Pretty Boy Swag / eHug.
Shout out to Sing Sing.
Yeah.
No, but like those guys are so crazy and they have so nice ideas sometimes, and they're not the only one. I don't want to emphasize this now just on Cloud9, but I like the fact that like Dota 2 is versatile in itself already. Every patch and every team and every tournament is bringing up even more and new ways to defeat the other team.
Right.
Not to mention that you of course still have RNG, things like reaction, personal skill, etc. That all, it's like a huge, I don't know, it's like it's a huge sum of factors coming. And yeah, you never know what's the outcome, and that makes Dota so interesting. Not just to play, also to watch, and of course to cast.
Yep, and it makes it all a great thing, because like, it's the only reason why you can watch the same game be played on the same map with the same heroes essentially every once in a while, but still be something totally different, still be interesting. So I do agree. I do love the randomness, or not necessarily randomness, but the amount of depth that you can get out of something that's so simple, relative
and
to the source.
Shout out to Mr. Ice Rock, because this, besides creating such an amazing game, but like keeping this game interesting. I mean, the last patches, I mean, of course there's always the patch whiners like, oh my god, why breaking this hero, why nerfing this hero. I can't hear it anymore. I read patch notes and I'm like, oh, this is gonna be interesting. Oh, this is gonna have a huge impact, small impact, etc., etc. This is how I read patch notes, and really kudos to Mr. Ice Rock, because he keeps that game so interesting. He's changing the meta without breaking the game. It's not like after each and every patch suddenly you don't know the game anymore. He changes a lot, but not too much. I think he got always the right mix in each and every change he did so far, and he keeps that game just amazing as it is.
Yes, I do agree. And that said, if you do miss like 5 patches, well, first of all, you're out of date anyway. Second of all, yeah, the game's gonna be completely different. So if you do stay away from it too long, it will be a completely different thing. But if you stick with it and keep going per step, it'll be the same process, or the same beast under all the fancy details. So yeah, I do agree. Nice balance, nice stuff. Always a change of game to keep it interesting for us, because just when we thought PL will always be a cancer, he just suddenly never now.
Cancer Lancer, yeah.
Alright, so moving on to the next one. What events have you casted in?
What events? Well, so far we're pretty new, and we casted so far like JD League, Division 1 and Division 2 games. We casted the MLG TKO in German, some Yard White Festival games. Today, with you, we casted Tex actually,
yes.
and we are
guys,
going
guys,
to
guys,
cast.
SEX stands for SECS, not SEX. It's Sunday Evening Cup Series,
Yeah,
and Texas
Sunday
Evening Cup. Just clarify.
Exactly, yeah.
Just clarify
So-
for all the dirty minded out there.
No dirty thoughts there, please. Here. With one of my co-casters who is South African, and they have a national league there. I actually casted there the Dual Gaming League, and those guys were so happy that someone was interested in their games and someone casted their games.
Nice.
Like I personally thought the cast was kind of horrible because it was a test cast and the co-caster's microphone was horrible and the hardware was crashing. But those guys were so happy about it. They said like, "Oh no, screw that! Like, please upload the VODs, and it's cool. Someone recorded our game and everything." And it's really nice to see the appreciation. And of course, the two like smaller but still nice leagues is the League of Dota and the Amateur Dota 2 League. Like both really nice leagues to cast.
Really good leagues, and it's also really cool to see like the tickets on Dota TV for all these events, and then to go in there and watch and listen to like some new talent, or maybe hear some old names like Purge or Toby or LD Luminous or other people like that, and then on the next channel you hear Heflamoke and Cool Blue and other people that we know. It's like weird. It's like have you gotten used to that yet? Like the fact that we can actually go out and reach out and say, "Hey Toby, can I have this?" and Toby says yes.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Yeah, having these connections and like casters sticking together, the caster community coming closer together. Yeah, I like it.
One papa at a time. Shout out to yourself, Rothbot. We love you. No. Okay. All right. What organizations do you? Oh, wait, no. Sorry, actual question. What do you like about casting?
What I like about casting? Well, first of all, what I like about casting, the first thing, and I think this should be the most important thing for every caster, is what you do is for the auditory. There are people on Twitch, on whatever else there is as like a broadcast platform or Dota TV, and they don't want to steer the camera themselves. They want to lean back, drink a beer, eat, have dinner, whatever, and watch a nice Dota match, a nice camera, and a nice commentary. And yeah, to make this happen for more games in more languages to a broader auditory, that's exactly my goal. So this is definitely the most important thing about casting, and obviously I like that about casting. But there's more things. Of course, I like casting because I can work with people together, not just the co-caster, but like all that is like involved in the background. You know, there's so much going on. People don't even realize what it means. Like you cast one game, but at the same time you have like your browser is having like about 50 pages open. You have to update things. You have your broadcast software, your audio splitting, video splitting, like voice programs, all that shizzle that comes into casting. Managing this, it actually gives you a good feeling at the end of the day when your cast was successful.
And
it's
then,
like,
and then you go back and sit down there and watch, and you realize that you didn't turn your open mic on.
Yeah, things like this. Yeah, exactly. No, and there's a third thing I like when casters are spontaneous and entertaining. Of course, I like when the synergy between the casters are pretty good. Like when every caster has a certain role. One is like shoutcasting, the other one is more stats and camera orientated. Like I'm going with this split of work as well in my cast. And I also like it, of course, when there's guests in cast that give some insight, pro players.
Right. Yeah.
But I'm not. Yeah, I'm not too much of a fanboy, as in like, oh, I don't accept any cast because he has this rating, or I've never seen him in a tier 1 team. No, this is bullshit, Like there's many casters who are probably the worst Dota player on the planet, but their cast is amazing, and their game insight, their awareness of the game, of new things, is just as good as any pro player, because casters do that every day, just as a pro player practices every day or plays tournaments a lot. So you can get pro at many things, and casting is one of them.
Right, and just to stop you real quick, there's like a little clicking noise going on whenever you talk. I don't know what that is, but...
Oh yeah, that is just me shaking my head, like moving with my speech. So I try to not do it.
So there you go, guys. Basically, he's saying everything, nodding, and letting you know that how much he means his point. I mean, it's a really great point to make, that there's a lot that goes into broadcasting stuff. There's also a lot that goes into, a lot that goes into the community. You were talking community, right?
Yep.
Okay. There we go. I'm not lost, guys. Don't leave me alone. I'm not drunk. I'm fine. Everything's good. Everything's well. Cool Blue is definitely following along. No, like the clicking notes throwing me off though. Just prefacing for everybody who's wondering why Cool Blue sounds lost. So let's just pretend I made a really good point there, and let's move on to the next one. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, that really good point I just made is great. Now moving on to the next one. How has casting? Oh no, what do you not like about casting? What do you not
like about casting? Well, I think I kind of included that already in the last point. Obviously, I don't like casters who don't do it for the people that watch. That, I don't know, like sometimes I feel like they don't put any love in it. Then of course I don't like people that cast in a language they maybe should not cast in.
Oh man.
No, I know this sounds harsh, but like sometimes I think people just, you know, for example me, like I'm German. I think my English is okayish, and I think it's okay enough for casting. But there are some casters out there where I think like maybe you should do it in your native language. Maybe you would probably even find more viewers with it, and those viewers would be probably even more happy that someone is there casting in their language. So this is like the first thing. But there's a couple other things that can go wrong with, of course, production value. Even small casters, there's little things how you can make your stream, your cast, whatever, like enjoyable.
Right.
And it starts with like setting in games. I think the worst thing in the caster community, like of the casual casting of all the hobby casters I see so far, is camera settings.
Oh my god, yes.
Camera settings.
High five.
It
Internet
is.
High five, please.
Yeah, no, it is horrible. I'm like when I'm not casting, I'm pretty much watching all the time games or playing myself.
Right.
And I see some casters, and I enjoy their cast, but I just can't follow this camera because I think someone with Parkinson's is steering it. It's just not working. Like they must have their acceleration or whatever of the camera. They must have it on like 50% or something.
Right,
this is not a FPS game shooter where you have to be super fast. What's interesting is that you have the camera at exactly what's happening, and if the fight splits up and everything, then rather focus on one thing or smoothly slide to the other side instead of making this forth and back and your cursors and a bit combined with your mouse. It just makes the thing a whole mess, and I think this is the first and most important thing all these hobby casters have to learn.
Yes, I agree 1000%. And if you don't mind, can I go on like a little slight rant as well? I mean, because it needs to be said. Okay. There. When you guys are first starting out casting, advice for everybody who's starting out casting. I've been doing this for about a year and a half, so I think I can. Oh, and actually, no, not a year and a half, a year. So I think I might be able to throw a few advice points here or there. But all that said, I mean, out of all the things that I've seen from other casters, whenever I go first contact them for Casters Network, of course, it's like usually two of the biggest issues are camera speeds and what they say during cast. I'm not saying that the internet is a place where you can't say what you want to say, because it is definitely a place where you can say what you want to say, and people will do it whether you like it or not. But if you're casting a game, just consider the fact that there might be some family members, there might be somebody who's listening in public or something. So if you cast a team fight and every other word was a word that we need to bleep out, that is not good for casting. And the other one was camera work, like we heard Heflamoke say already. If your camera can be fine, if you can move between one team fight to the next one and then the other one to the next one, that's great for you. But for a viewer, from a viewer standpoint, you have to realize that we don't know where you're going to move your cursor. We don't know where you're going to direct things. We don't know what the heck you're going to look at next. So we're going to have to catch up to what you're doing. And if you move really fast, we're going to have to like say, okay, you're mid. Wait, no, you're not mid. Wait, you're hold on, where? Okay, I'm dizzy now. And then we become either seasick for those who do get seasick, which I don't, or car sick, or game sick, or we just become very frustrated and annoyed and like, I don't want to watch this anymore, and then we just click off the video.
Yep.
And by we, I mean we as viewers, as spectators.
Yep.
So
I think this is, by the way, a problem of the, let's say, the entire like castability of the Dota games. It's I wouldn't say it's new, but I mean it gives a much broader spectrum the opportunity to actually try casting. I mean now you have lobbies and certain leagues or even games of your friends, whatever, and now you have like options to set up everything. And other games it wasn't that well possible. So I guess a lot of people that cast now are new into it. They didn't do it on StarCraft or any other game. So I think it's just a matter of time till viewers tell them, hey man, could you just put down that camera speed, or could you actually target the heroes that you are talking about. This is also something like the synergy between your words and your actions. It has to be there. Like for example, on our game today, you were introducing the players while you were mentioning the name and the class. I was actually putting the camera on it.
Yeah.
That's like, I think this is a nice synergy. And I mean, we casted together for the first time, but I still try to, go with the flow you pretty much give. You say how fast and or slow it goes, what direction it goes, and I'm going with my camera that way. So your words are underlined by my camera movement, and this is how it should go. Like, you shouldn't target a range creep when you're talking about the top lane heroes or their names or their stats, whatever.
Exactly. Like
that's important.
That is, I agree. It's not necessarily a big pet peeve of mine. That's one thing I'm still trying to make sure I be consistent with, and not necessarily break myself off, because I don't do that a lot. Like, usually if I look at somebody like Naga, I'm talking about Naga, and I'm missing every single first blood in the world. But
oh yeah, that's horror. That's the horror scenario for every caster. Missing fights.
To be in the middle of a thought and then talking about something, and then hear like Rampage on the other side of the map. It's like crap.
First blood and Rampage is missing. That would be like the worst case scenario. But there's other bad things actually about casting. Like when it comes to like multiple fights or missing something, there's teams, especially Russian teams, that are so active on the map. Like you have, let's say, cast-worthy or show-worthy events going on at the same time.
Right.
Like, no kidding. I think it was an Empire game versus someone else. I don't recall, but I'm not lying. I missed 3 kills in a row just because on mid, bottom, and top lane was action going on. Like, there was synchronously kills and or fights, and sometimes I showed a fight and someone escaped, but then again on the other lane they were successful and got a kill. Like, I was going mad on this game just because they were playing faster than I could cast this.
And
so
that's also another thing. Like that comes with time, though. That comes with casting time. Like, as far this is the advice section. If anybody has picked up on that, for new casters or people who are casting and maybe need advice here or there. Hint, hint, wink, wink, cool glue. But anyway, there's a lot to talk about in Dota. Like, if anybody ever tells you that, or any game, it should be this. I don't know if this is actually true with StarCraft. It should be true with StarCraft, relatively speaking. But there's always something to talk about. If you think there's nothing to talk about, then you might need to reconsider what you're looking at, or you might need to reconsider casting, because there's always something to talk about, especially in Dota. And because of that, when team fights happen, usually something interesting has happened across the map, and the goal of you as the caster or person who's controlling the screen is to figure out what's more important or figure out what's more interesting to the viewer. Like, Nature's Prophet doing a whole bunch of cool micro stuff with his treants is awesome to you, but to the viewer, they just want to see people die. So you might need to go focus on team fight. Or maybe if 3 team fights going on, go focus one with the carry in it, because he might do something cool.
Yeah, exactly. You have to set priorities. If there's actually fighting going on 3 lanes, then don't show the off lane. Show where more heroes are involved, or where like the crucial core heroes are involved, or where you simply think the better plays come out. I mean, okay, if 2 off laners, or like a solo safe lane and a solo off lane are killing each other, okay, that might have been some really nice being outplayed. But then again, like, the team fights are mostly more action loaded, so you want to tune in there. Yeah. But like, yeah, I have to disagree with you, though. Am I allowed to disagree?
Yeah, no, dude, you're totally allowed. This is your interview. This is your time.
Like, I think sometimes there are phases in Dota where, of course, there's always something to say, and like every caster should have some sort of guideline, what you have, at what point you show graphs, and like if there's nothing going on, you can talk about the team stats. If you had time before the matches, you can even, come up with statistics and former games, strategies, future prediction of items, whatsoever. Okay, that's all good, and I absolutely agree. There's always something to say. But there's some games, and I have to say that, like, especially Asian Dota, sometimes... You have to mention this.
Okay, go ahead.
Sometimes you're facing a 20 minutes farm fest with maybe 1 or 2 kills, you already introduced all the players. You've been talking about the last 3 years of their tournaments. You made item predictions and gold crafts and whatever, everything. And at some point, you're just at the end of your little paper in front of you, and they're still in their jungle, and you're like, okay, like, please guys, could you tell me when you start to fight? I make a nice overlay on my stream, put some music on, and I call back all the people when the fight starts. That's like the worst moment for a caster, when the teams are very inactive, or if you did the interesting stuff too early. That's why I'm like saving some stuff up. I rather leave it out.
Right.
If it's gonna be a really interesting game, then doing everything at the start, maybe stats and whatever, knowledge about the teams, predictions. I leave that really for the moments where they say like, okay, let's retreat and farm, and this could last for like 10 minutes.
Or
then you need this.
Pause.
Then you, as a caster, you need it.
Long pauses, that's also another thing. But hold on.
Yeah.
We can, like I said, guys, this interview can go on for days with a lot of topics. This is why I wanted to interview you, Heflamoke, is because we have a lot to talk about, and there's a lot of interesting things about you, and you totally said there was nothing interesting about you. I totally no longer believe you on that statement, man.
We can go ahead. Like, we don't need to stick to one topic. I gladly talk about other topics, but like, as we are both casters, there's a lot to share.
Yeah, a lot of advice that we can give. Oh, speaking of which, CasNet, just to throw like a quick note, CasNet will be doing an advice series for casters out there. We'll be working on that, and by we I mean everybody in CasNet and everybody who wants to be involved. So Heflamoke, you're welcome to join if you want. But we'll be working on that soon. But let's continue on with the interview for now. So I'll go ahead and jump into the next question. Oh boy, where's the next question? How has casting affected you in real life?
Oh well, like a lot less sleep, a lot less food I should consume. But like, this was always a side effect from esports. So to be honest, I don't notice any difference between playing a lot or even playing competitive or even professional to casting. The only thing I have to say, like, as a caster, you're like more involved in the organizing part than the actual doing part. So it's pretty much you prepare 2 hours for possibly 15 minutes GG.
Yeah.
That could happen. But then again, you also have those nice games where you jump in, it's a best of 5, and you just look ahead of, like, I don't know, 5 hours full action loaded Dota, and everything was worth it.
Now, you guys can't see me, or nor can you see Heflamoke, but I'm pretty sure both of our eyes glazed over as he made that statement.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, oh god. There are times where you can have caster burnout. Which actually, I can ask you that question. I will ask you that question. Have you ever experienced a time during your casting career, your short casting career, according to you, where you just like, look, I don't feel like casting anything related to this game. I don't feel like touching this game for like a year. Leave me alone, and you just walk away.
I don't think it can happen with Dota 2 because I'm really fond of this game. But I definitely, after each and every cast, that's why I also like to have a co-caster. If you're alone, you organize all the stuff, then as soon as you see the scoreboard that comes at the end of each game when the throne falls, you feel this, like, I don't know, you make an outro, you thank your viewers and everything, but then you feel like everything is falling off your shoulders, like all this pressure about doing mistakes, and you feel so burned out. I can just recommend every caster have some sugar next to your keyboard. Like, I'm not even kidding, like, have a chocolate bar or something. You need something to cheer up. Like, casters are just empty. All batteries are empty. Not to mention the throat that hurts, and you need to smoke, and you need to drink desperately, and all that stuff. But yeah, this casters can burn out.
There was also one time where I needed to shower. Like I needed. Now, guys, you know you need to shower when you smell yourself and you know that you need to shower. That's when you definitely need to shower.
I think that goes for every esport. Like if you think that your keyboard smells, but actually it's everything below the desktop that is just coming up with warm air or something, then I think you should take a shower. Like, nothing is more important than still body hygiene.
Yes, dude, your case in point, there were actually signs at TI3 that said, like, there was literally a billboard, like a sign dedicated to this all over the place. It said, please remember to take a shower.
Oh, yeah. Well, like, it's... To be honest, like, as I said, like, when I started with esports, the LAN parties, when you had, like, guys with no shower for 5 days, smoking, drinking, sweating, etc.
It's horrible.
Like, I mean, I'm a kind of sporty and skinny guy, so but like sometimes you have guys that are like more heavier and they're sitting in their chairs, sometimes 2 small chairs, and they're sitting there not changing their clothes for 5 days.
God.
This, yeah, it can be.
Can't be a problem.
Let's call it a problem. Yeah.
Let's call
I
it
don't
a
want to
problem.
describe it any further because the further I get into it, the more pictures my brain is gonna draw on, and it's like, no, I don't want to go there.
Yeah.
So yeah, guys, take a shower.
Yes, take a
From time
shower.
to-
That's one of the things that that's affected in real life. Showers are important. They're more important to me now than ever.
Yep.
Which is funny because I used to play basketball a lot. Ironic. But anyway, all right. So aside from casting and playing Dota, what do you do for fun?
Oh, for fun, like.
Remember,
Like when I
Dota
had
and
the
casting
time-
aren't included.
when I had the time, still I was doing actually a lot of sport. But the funny thing is, like, I mean, I'm not talking about esports, guys. I'm talking about actual sport, like with.
What are those? No, those don't exist.
No.
That's not a thing. Those aren't real
Yeah,
weapons.
no, it is. It is. So, no, I was doing a lot of it, but even there, I had to join teams. I had to play in some sort of ladder, and I had to be good at it. So I think I'm like a very competitive spirit when it comes to things like this. So, like, you couldn't put me on a football pitch, and I would be just as like energetic to win, just as I would be in a Dota 2 game. So this is something I do for fun. I'm into languages as well. Like I try to learn as many as possible languages, and you can find me on a free dictionary, which is like Wikipedia-based dictionary. It's called DicCC. I can just recommend it to everyone. Yeah, and I'm building there at the moment a Hungarian, German-Hungarian, English dictionary.
Nice.
Just because I live in the country currently, so I take this opportunity to learn the language and give it even further to other people.
All right, and
That's
I'm,
what I
I'm,
do.
I'm gonna get with you a little bit right after this interview, so I can make sure I get that link. But that link will be posted below, so you guys can go check that out if you want to, and I'll have you link us directly to some of your work if you don't mind.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, of course.
So the follow up for that was gonna be you mentioned. Hold on. You mentioned. Oh, languages. You mentioned languages. Yes. I should have asked this question up front because we've been going for 46 minutes. Awesomely. But what languages do you speak fluently?
Well, I think like
Or
I speak German.
Understandably. There you go. That's better.
Understandable language. Well, definitely German. Like in German, I like to specialize on accents and tongues in certain languages. So, like in German, I know the High German, like the official one, you know, the written one.
Come on,
But
sample. Give us a sample.
no sample. I'm shy. No, but like because you know the region where I come from, it's not even understandable as German pretty much, and like actually people even make fun of you if you talk like this. So anyway, I'm just capable of doing it, and sometimes in the right position, like in the right situation, it's good to know that. Plus, of course, you understand people from different parts. And like in English, I just appreciate the same thing. Like I love the Scottish accent.
Oh, you love the Scottish
Like,
accent.
Yeah, of course. It's so sexy. Like Scottish women. Like usually you have like a usually you have like when it comes to women you say like, hey, like I would never something whatever with that woman if she has. Like when it comes to Scottish women, I can look over many things.
There you
just
go, guys.
because she's-
Heflamoke, just telling you guys, all the ladies out there, write it down. Heflamoke loves Scottish accents. So if you don't have one, go YouTube a whole bunch of videos and learn one so you can get Heflamoke to.
You can't learn it. You can't learn
can't
it.
learn
It
it?
is.
Aw.
No, it is. It's so deep inside, and but for me, so enjoyable. But
Ladies,
like,
challenge
of course,
accepted. He said you can't do it. Challenge accepted.
no, but there's also like here right now in Hungary, I'm in a very international environment. So I'm surrounded by people from Canada, from the US, of course, from the UK, India. Like also a lot of
nice.
pidgin English, and sorry for all the people that take offense in saying pidgin English. So like the African accents of English.
Right.
Very interesting, and it takes some time till you understand them, and of course to replicate them also takes even more time, and I have fun with this. Okay.
And,
I think in other languages I make it fast. Like I understand a bit of Spain, Italian, French. I learned Russian in school.
Nice.
Currently, I live in Hungary. Speaking is horrible. Understanding is very good.
Okay.
And well, other small languages like all the Nordic languages, Swedish,
Question.
Norse,
Do you know Natvi?
Dutch. What's that? Hmm?
Do you know Natvi?
Navi? What?
No, not Navi, Natvi. It's
No.
It's from a movie Avatar with the blue people.
No.
Oh,
I never seen Avatar.
What? Oh my
Sorry.
gosh! Somebody get this guy a movie. Okay. We'll go ahead and move on. We'll go ahead and move on then. We'll just pretend you didn't say that and make Cool Blue very sad and break his
Okay.
heart. What other games do you play? Just like just extremely briefly.
Well, extremely briefly, right now I'm playing everything that's coming into beta,
Oh,
like just for a preview, and I even presented on my stream, like in leisure time when I'm not casting or playing Dota 2.
Jeez.
And I regularly do my Hearthstone quests, and I drop by World of Warcraft from time to time just to say the old folks hello. My account is still running and will always run until the game pretty much dies. Yeah, but there's not much time besides Dota 2. That's pretty much it.
Okay. And the next one, since we're going to go ahead and bring this one to a close, because we are hitting at 51 minutes, any shoutouts that you would like to make, any and all shoutouts, feel free to say every single one of you so desire.
I'm not good at shoutouts, but because there's just like, I don't know, in over a decade of esport, there's so many people I could shout out. I probably have to prepare a list for that. The preparing alone will take 5 hours, and shouting out to all those people will probably take even more time. I will definitely
wait. All I'm
thank.
saying is, if AC can do it, you can do it too. No.
No, I'll make this short, and it's just the same I always do, even in public speeches when I have to hold one. Like, I
Okay.
definitely thank all of the people that stick together with me for all the years, even through my grumpy phases. Thank you for all the people that support me. Like, shout out to Cool Blue.
Oh, thank you. Sorry, I was paying attention. Yes. What were we talking about? No.
No, definitely thank you to all the people that stick to me. And of course, now that I'm into casting, shout out to each and every single viewers, even the trolls and even those people who just log in to say I am a noob or something. I'm happy with all the feedback that comes. I'm happy for all the likes, follows, Twitters, Facebook posts, whatsoever. Everything helps and everything is appreciated.
Yeah.
Good or bad, doesn't matter.
Yep. Because you know what to say. There's no such thing as bad publicity. Actually, there is. It's called
There is,
harassment.
but no, I don't mind. I appreciate when people, like last time, for example, I had a really bad troll on my Twitch chat, but what he didn't notice it, like in all his anger and rage, he was entertaining the rest of my viewers, and we had a good laugh. Like, not kidding, I was talking an hour with like him, and he was just telling me how bad I am in playing Dota. And some points he probably might have been even right. But what he totally forgot is that like he was really entertaining us. The stream had a good time with him. So thank you to all the trolls. It's much appreciated.
There you go, guys. Trolling his stream and his viewers will have their way with you. And I do mean that in a very non-friendly to kids way. But anyway, so moving on to the last one. Where can people find you? Because we've had 3 of your sites here, but I'm pretty sure you have a lot more. We have your Twitter, which is @Heflamoke. We have your Twitch, which is twitch.tv/Heflamoke, and YouTube, which is /Heflamoke. I mean, it's all Heflamoke. You guys can go look it up. It's been there for like 50 minutes. Go check it out. Also, keep this in
and all this, all this is running under the label I created, which is Hefla TV. The plan for this label in the future is that there's not just my stream running. There will be maybe a Hefla TV 2 and a Hefla TV 3. We try to offer 1, 2, maybe in the future as well, a 3rd language.
Ooh,
and of
nice.
course, as much and as broad coverage as we can. We don't try to get pro, we don't want to get rich on it, like money or anything is not even involved. Everything is private here, we don't gain a cent whatsoever. Everything is really just for the viewers, that regardless of how unimportant that game might seem, there is a caster for it, and if it's me I have to cast it, I have no problem with it. If Navi versus Alliance, or I don't know, Team Ukraine versus whatever unknown other CIS team, I don't care. Like, as long as there are people who want to watch it, I will cast it.
There you go. If you guys demand it, he will cast it for you. Now, you mentioned that you guys have a Heflamoke TV. Like, is that a thing?
Well, it's the well, I created the label, and I hope it runs under this name.
Okay.
In agreement with all the casters I have, and yeah, I hope in the future I get more co-casters, more people that agree to the idea I have. It's hard to find people, so if there's anyone out there who is interested, for example, in cooperating with me, I gladly take it. I'm still desperately in search of a German caster, German English in combination, just like I have it, would be even better. But yeah, if it's only German, it's just as fine. And I'm also looking like forward to maybe meet another English caster. So we could probably even offer a second stream, or 2 double broadcasts, or maybe 3 single ones. You know, the flexibility is what I like about working with more people, may it be guests or friends or permanent staff whatsoever. It's all a hobby, absolutely non-professional and financially independent. Everything we do, we pay all our own. There's not even a donate button on my page, so I will not be one of those who is asking for money whatsoever.
Right.
We do it for you guys, and I don't want to have anything for it.
There you go. So you guys have heard him. You guys got a feel for him. All those guys who are, or all the people out there who are casting, maybe don't have your name out there too much. You can definitely contact Heflamoke directly through one of his media sites. As he informed me earlier, he's very responsive to his stuff. You guys can also come through CasNet if you want to. We can get you guys hooked up with him perfectly fine. But as you guys hear, Heflamoke has ideas. He has that aspiration to expand and make himself and his group, specifically his group, for the people, as big of a thing as possible, so we can provide more coverage around the world. So there you go, you guys got it. Everybody who's looking for something to do with Dota, or maybe some other thing, maybe you cast in German, maybe you cast only English, maybe you cast in Taiwanese, who really knows? Heflamoke may have your back. So definitely go check him out. Definitely go check out his stuff. His websites, like I said, have been listed there for the longest time. And we've ran this broadcast for 56 minutes. I'm trying to stall. We need 4 more minutes so we can have a whole hour. Can we do it? Can we do it?
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure.
Okay. I'll ask you this question. What is your take on the community as far as behavior? Relative to esports, not relative to Dota. And guys, this is extra stuff, so if you guys don't want to watch, you don't have to. All the important stuff is done already, like the whole interview. But it's just after hours.
This is my opinion on the community, how it behaves in certain aspect, and only related to Dota 2?
No. Esports in general, not related to
Esports in general.
Dota's included, but not direct to Dota. Because you've been involved with esports for a while, and I'm pretty sure you've seen a lot of things.
Yeah. No, it's an interesting question, and I'm trying to do this without offending people.
Okay.
Because I have to say there's certain things or certain types in the community, we all know them, like the casual, the tryhard, the wannabe pro, or the pretend to be pro but actually being horrible.
Right.
Then those people who are actually good but don't have enough time, whatever, to become pro. There's so many like facets of the community that this list could go on forever. What I have to say though is that like I don't like that the community is pressuring the market in a certain way sometimes. Like for example, on the example of WoW, like Blizzard as a game developer really folded to the massive pressure of the casual community that came with over 12 million players. Because as we said, like there's 0.1% who is representing the pro scene, and the rest of the people there are demanding, oh, this is too hard, this should be changed, and the amount of whining. And I mean this. I actually mean it as I say. The amount of whining about certain things definitely increased. Because I don't know why, but like back then we were happy that we had certain things, and we were aware that some things have to be nerfed or buffed or whatever, regardless of what game, regardless of what abilities or whatever I'm talking about. Like I'm talking generally balancing or change of support or admins interacting, whatever, anything.
Right.
And I think the community is more demanding now. Like, and if it doesn't happen right away, they get mad, and like, I mean, you see so often posts now, oh, I'm quitting the game in caps and for this and this reason and stuff. I mean, what most people don't realize, the game is not just made for you, it's the entire community, and the majority mostly rules, which is sometimes good, sometimes bad. But like, I think people take themselves individually too important, because nobody cares if you quit the game. because
It's a drop
at
in
the point
bucket.
where you're gonna realize the day after that you quit the game and nobody cares, you probably even come back to the game, and then again, still nobody cares.
Yeah.
So I think this part of the community got worse. But then again, I want to say something positive too. Well, community got a lot more dynamic. You have a lot more people striving towards pro, a lot more people getting versatile in the games themselves. You have like, I mean, you see it now in the MMR system, how many people play it, how many different ratings there exist for pretty much everyone. There exists something. I mean, the solo MMR system is not perfect yet, but it gives like, let's say, an estimation of skill you play in. And of course, the community is a lot more willing to even pay, like not just pay respect, I'm actually talking about real money.
Right.
Like there's a lot of little projects that get donations, there's subscriptions, people actually go just to follow their, I don't know, beloved streamer they watch day and night.
To actually support them and make sure that they can keep doing what they're doing without, because they're still human, they need food.
Just look at the last TI. The last TI is the best example of how crowdfunding for something you love can work. Like the prize pool, yeah, I think about 2.5 million. It's just crazy, and I mean this is just a big example because it's from the game developer himself. But there's also other small examples like streams that are still running because they're getting funded by the community, or like tournaments that like started with like, I don't know, a keyboard as a prize pool. Now they're at like $500 and an entire PC, and next season they're gonna be up with 1,000. I mean, I'm not saying it's growing like crazy, and we talk about like 5-6 digits of money, but like you see it growing. People are willing to say like, hey, you do something good for me, and I spare you maybe just 50 cents or like 69 cents for the ticket, or maybe I got €5 spare and I just give it to you, and if you promise me to buy a new camera for that, I go for it. And some streamers, that's what I like about streamers too. Some streamers say like, okay guys, if you give me that certain amount of money, I'll see to it that I get a green screen behind me.
Right.
And they do it, so they grow with their viewers. And it's nice to see, like you as a viewer, you paid €5, and combined with the money of other viewers, in 1 month you suddenly see your like favorite stream with a green screen and better quality, better camera, better microphone, etc. And that's what I love. Nice community.
Nice. So the community, of course, it has its good things, it has its bad things, and oh my gosh, congratulations, we're at 1 hour and 2 minutes. So I think we successfully stalled long enough. Once again, an internet high five to you, sir. Just throwing it across the mic over there. So there you go. For everybody who's still hanging out with us, thank you guys for still hanging out with us. You made it to the 1 hour mark. I think this is the first interview video that went to 1 hour. The one with Shiva went for like 57 minutes or something like that. Or 56. The
sad thing is we could still talk for another hour.
Dude, yes we can. I want to ask you so many questions, but I'll ask you a little bit later. And also, I want to make sure my computer doesn't blue screen. So I'm going to go ahead and cut the video there. So Heflamoke, would you like to say your final goodbye to all the beautiful people out there?
Well, shout out to all the people I already shouted out to, pretty much everybody, and I hope I get enough followers and viewers that like the project and gonna see me in the future. I do everything to please you and your demands and give you the best casting I can, including my casting crew, which will be also introduced on my page very soon, as soon as they have their social stuff running, etc. And yeah, then I just hope I make you all happy.
There you go, guys. Heflamoke putting his heart out there on his sleeve. Go support him. Go like his stuff. Go follow him on YouTube and Twitter. Just go hang out with the guy. He's a lovable person, and we have a lot to talk about afterwards. So, we're going to talk about that stuff after I finish this. So, once again, my name is Cool Blue. I was joined here by Heflamoke, so thank you, Heflamoke, for joining us. And we just brought you guys interview number something, like number 8, I think, which is crazy, because we're almost at 10. It's like mind-boggling to me still. And I want to talk about it, but I can't, because I got to hurry close the video. So, yeah, anyway, hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll see you guys, as always, whenever.
See ya.